So welcome along. Joining me on Skype now is Karel. He's going to be talking to us about his up and coming single, "Closer to My Body," I believe it is. So, good day to Karel. Thank you for agreeing to talk to us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Now, you've got a single coming out, "Closer to My Body," coming out in March, I think it is. Is it coming out very
Um,
shortly?
there's an EP coming out, actually February 19th,
All right,
which is
okay,
closer to my body.
right.
And
So,
the
so
EP will be called The Hunger.
the hunger.
Yes.
Right now, I believe is it sort of like described as fully finished, well produced, and ready for urban dance clubs? Is that how you would describe it? Sort of a
Yes.
dancey sort of mix.
Yes, that is what a local paper here said about the song recently.
Now, I believe it's by a New York newspaper, but you're not actually originally from New York. Are you?
I'm originally born in Helsinki, Finland, and
Right,
I grew up in New York.
right. So, how is it different? You know, moving to New York, has it helped you at all?
Well, I think it's definitely given me thick skin and it's given me lots of opportunities to experience lots of music
Hmm.
and really get, experience lots of different things in order to develop my music.
Right. So, how would you describe your music to the listener or to someone who hasn't heard of you? How would you describe it? Obviously, we mentioned about dance, sort of urban dance, sort of like clubs and things like that. Is it pop? Is it dance? Mainly dance? Is it across the board? You try everything?
I like blending lots of things. I would describe my music as being overall kind of a thoughtful pop music,
Hmm.
which blends pop, rock, and electronic music.
Right now, your influences. I always ask, who has influenced you throughout your life in the pop industry or the music industry? Who's your idols? Who have you looked up to? So like growing up, moving on into the music industry yourself, that sort of thing.
Well, all my life, Michael Jackson has definitely been a number one for me.
Hmm.
But when I was really young, like 5 years old, I used to listen to lots of classical composers like Tchaikovsky. From where I moved to Michael Jackson, from discovering Eddie Van Halen played that guitar solo on "Beat It," I started getting into rock music
Right.
and
Okay.
deeper into heavy metal. From the once I discovered Skrillex, then he was a real influence for me to start exploring electronic music.
Hmm.
And from there, I've explored lots of styles such as jazz and kind of film scoring music and all kinds of stuff.
So in that case, sort of, you mentioned the great Michael Jackson and everything like that. Now, growing up, you've actually experienced quite a lot of different type music, and you've experienced that, and you are going on with that sort of music in your sort of like performances, your singles. It's all coming into one as such, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you're performing, are you going on to a world tour with the EP, or are you just staying in America at the moment? How's it going to work? Are you,
There are no confirmed plans yet, but I would like to. We are planning to tour America and Europe, especially.
are you going to come here into the UK at all?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Right. So now, when you're on stage, is it just you and a guitar, or have you got a band behind you, or do you get bands in to support you? How does it work?
I used to perform with a band, but the new setup is essentially me and another person.
Right.
We're combining elements of DJing and rock band,
Right. Okay.
live performance
How
all
does
into one.
How does that work exactly? Does it work quite well, or do you have to sort of like get on with each other and sort of like how does it work? Because it seems um,
It's it has limitless there's kind of limitless creativity that can be put into it,
right.
which is
Okay.
what I like about it. Um, and I used to perform a lot with bands, but then you'd come across all of these clashing personalities, and you wouldn't end up getting nearly as much done. With this setup, I can pull up recording program and
Hmm.
um, really produce a full live show on a laptop,
Right.
and then whenever I perform live, I take out all these things that I perform live, hence creating this combination of rock band and electronic elements.
Now, you were just saying about the laptop. Do you actually produce all your own music, or do you go into a studio? Is it all from home? Do you have a producer? How does it work?
It's I produce myself, I write my own music. I do everything on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not programming the sounds, I'm playing in the sounds or singing in my music.
Oh, that sounds really, really interesting. So, when you were growing up, so like, who were your how could I put it? Your songwriting, and who still is your main songwriting influences? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it everything? Everyone? How do you actually write your songs? Come up with the ideas.
I used to write a lot about relationships, and that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of the beginning for where I really found out that I had a voice for writing songs. And I used to also compose lots of instrumental stuff when I was younger. I would mess around with instruments and do all that. But then these days I write music kind of like writing a film script with a character. I create this character and the settings and the characteristics of this person, their environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to bring it all together.
So in that sort of aspect, you sort of like is the character you? Are you having you as the character, or is it
It is often me, but sometimes I will make up a character
right?
depending on um, the feelings I'm trying to evoke in a song.
So which comes first? Is it the vocals or is it the music behind the songs, or does it just depend on what mood you're in as such?
It can be both, but often I'll end up producing something on my computer and I'll write something over that and
Mm-hmm.
probably scratch everything that I did before that and start over based on the vocals or something like that.
So with this album, how long has it been into, or the EP, should I say? How long has it been in the pipeline? Is it something that you're quite? Has it taken a while, or have you taken your time over it, or has it come naturally to you that you've, like some artists can just knock one out just like that, or is it sort of you've taken your time and you want it that spot on?
I took my time with this when I started this in the spring of 2015,
Right.
and over the course of the spring and the fall of 2015,
Mm-hmm.
I produced these 5 songs, which will be on the EP, and kind of developing this new style from where I used to do lots of rock music.
Mm-hmm.
Now I had the power to, with technology and all these musical influences, to put it all into one, which I'm happy with.
Right.
These days, I can knock out an EP much faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, to me, it's down to once I know what I'm looking for, I'm able to do it.
So basically, once you've had that initial idea, that's it. It just seems to fall into place then.
Yes.
So when you're sitting down writing and everything like that, how do you focus onto your music? Is it easy? Do you have to shut yourself away, or does it there again, like writing? Does it just come to you wherever you are? You can be walking up the street, for example, and you just suddenly get a tune in your head. And
Often it kind of comes to me.
right,
Sometimes I might even wake up and in the dream as I'm waking up, I hear melodies, and then I'm trying to catch them onto my onto the phone recording or something like that as I wake up. But sometimes I could be jamming on the piano, and often it kind of comes to me.
mm,
Or it's less rarely where I would sit down and write lyrics first and um, come up with a song from there. It usually starts with a melody for me.
right, okay. So talking about your EP and everything and tour dates. Is there a website? Have you got? Obviously, you got social media, but what are the social medias? Because we've got Twitter, we've got Facebook, we've got everything in this day and age. So, what's the main one you use? Obviously, a website. Have you got a website?
Yes, the website is karelmusic.com,
Right.
and I am also on Facebook, Twitter, primarily Instagram,
hmm So,
and YouTube, of course.
so the main thing is the spelling of Karel is Karel, I believe.
Yes.
So, what's What's coming up next? Obviously, you've got the EP launch. You're working on some tour dates. You were saying, hopefully.
Yes.
So,
Right.
are you
Right
going to?
now, I'm sorry.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, I was right now I'm preparing these live shows. The
Hmm.
first one coming up is February 19th, the release date of the EP. There will be a show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in the States.
Right.
Where there's a Millennium Music Conference showcase. That's where I'll be revealing this all new setup. And from there, we will continue to book more dates. We'll likely over the summer we will have shows
Hmm.
in Europe and in the States, but they're not confirmed yet.
So, what sort of venues do you like playing? Do you like playing the big ones, or do you prefer the personal small venues, or just does it depend? Because you can get as long as you get the atmosphere, doesn't matter where you play.
It doesn't matter to me, but
Mm.
personally, actually, even as an audience member, I like small venues.
Right.
That's where
Okay.
you really get the full experience, and it's for the fans.
Yes. So as long as you can see the fans enjoying it, doesn't matter about anything else. You just want to get your music out, and the fans, obviously, you want to. Now, how old were you when you started performing, or when you went into performing? Were
I
you sort of
perform.
like at school, or were you younger?
I took piano lessons when I was 6 years old, and
Right.
that's the first time I performed. And I was really nervous then, but then then once I got into the hang of it, playing guitar and being able to play with your friends, I became much more comfortable playing live, and from there, ever since I was 12, I'd consistently been performing around New York City.
Now you were saying about you're quite confident performers or performer. Now is that something you've learnt? Do you still get nervous, or you still get that feeling which is good for you? You know, it keeps you on your toes. How would you describe when you're just about to go on stage? How do you feel?
Um, it depends. I think for me, it's really once you feel prepared,
Hmm.
you know what you're coming on to do, and you feel comfortable, and I can take it easy knowing that I'm bringing something of value to the people who've come to see me.
So you
And
wouldn't
that's
you wouldn't really call it nerves then, because
no.
no. So I always try to ask this for a younger you. If you were looking back or giving advice what you've learned at this stage to a younger you or someone else who's just joining the industry, what bit of advice have you learned that you would actually pass on to help someone else?
There's a couple things. I think the first thing would be to be open to lots of things and take things as a learning experience.
Right.
And I think even more importantly, not to really care so much about what other people are doing. Of course, you pay attention to what other people are doing in the music industry, and
Hmm.
you follow other people's music, but if it's about finding your own voice.
Right.
Focus on finding your own voice, and you'll be much happier.
So basically, you've got to feel comfortable in what you do, happy in what you do, for that to come across in your music. Is that sort of sums it up?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we will be playing out on your singles and everything like that very, very shortly. So basically, your EP's coming out. Your website once again,
It is karelmusic.com.
right? And of course, the most important thing, which obviously is your music available for all the downloads, the usual web download sites.
Yes, on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, all these different places.
Right. Okay. And Amazon and all that lot. All the
Yes.
right. Okay. Then I just thought I'd actually throw that one in. So my thanks goes to you for joining us today, and obviously good luck with your EP and all your music in the near future.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.